And gentlemen, we're off campus. And what I mean by that is we're going to, or I'm going to smoke a cigar and have a beer. And I'm at my local tobacconist, Tobacco and Hops, at a neighboring town. And crap, did I forget my lighter? No. Did I forget my cutter? No. So what's been going on? The P3, the P6, the Rega P6 is amazing. And the more and more I can tell that cart is broke in, that doggone thing's cutting loose. I think I've already talked about it here and there, so maybe it's a little bit familiar to you. I have got I've already cut this thing. I have got a second year repressing of Asia, and I was playing it this morning, 33 RPM. Just it was emotional. The difference was emotional. That's the only real way of describing it. Now then, after I listened to Asia, and it's just emotional. Smoking a little bit tight. That's what he said. Anyway, you know, guys, this daggone cigar is hard as a brick. It'll loosen up. I've got confidence in it. It's a signature Aganorsa Leaf signature series. It's really good smoke. Corojo blend, which is the Cuban seed blend. It's not a Cuban cigar, it's just off the seeds. I don't know if y'all are getting that echo, but I'm getting a little bit of echo. Maybe just, I'm using the microphone in my AirPods. So anyway, we'll see how that turns out. Westbrook, that's my favorite brewery, is Westbrook. And this is Zeus Juice by Westbrook. It is a ambrosia-inspired sour wheat ale brewed with tangerine, pineapple, cherry, coconut, lactose, and marshmallows, my friends. Wow, that's juicy. I like hazy IPAs. They didn't have any. But anyway, how y'all like my shirt? I got it this week with an order of cigars. That's what I do, is smoke cigars. And I know things. This episode, I'm going to talk a little bit about that P6 and the Hannah HL. And then I'm going to get into comments. Yes, comments. I'm going to read off comments. They're everything from "you've lost your mind" to "man, I love this channel. I love the vibe. I love your style," etc., etc. I mean, most of it's compliments. Thank God, because if it wasn't, I emotionally couldn't handle it. I like to say I'm Mr. Big and Bad, and I like to say I'm thick-skinned and all that, but at the end of the day, I'm not. I like people to like me. Everybody does, right? So, anyway, got a little reverb. It's not as bad as a cell phone. Sometimes, you get a cell phone connection, it's wonky, you got to disconnect, reconnect. It's not quite that bad, but I could see that it could be. Again, I am in a cigar shop. It's Tobacco and Hops. It's completely empty. It's 1 o'clock on the money right now, so it's a little slow, but I imagine when I do get the ability to come in here at this time, usually somebody sneaks in. So just depending on the vibe of things is how far we can get into this. I got the day off today which I worked 14 hours yesterday, and then, yeah, it's the way it goes. Tuesday, I worked 4 hours. Thank God I don't get paid by the hour. But I worked 4 hours on Tuesday, and then yesterday I worked 14 hours, and then he texted me and said, take the day off tomorrow. Yay! Anyway, so back to the records. So then I put up there, I was flipping through some of my records, and I was like, you know, there's Frampton's, which record is that? Let's see. So, oh yeah, it's just Frampton. I think it was his first album, maybe. Anyway, I've got that in two ways. I've got it as a OG, very clean OG. I washed it, and I've taken good care of it, and whoever had it before me took real good care of it. So it's a nice album. VG Plus is being polite, is being rude to it. Really and truly, it's kind of near mint. Very quiet album. Frampton come out with a box set, what, about 6 months ago? Longer than that. It was July. There's some great interviews with him kind of promoting that box set for the publishers. I can't remember the name of the publishers, but you can get that box set on Acoustic Sounds, and a couple other places. Music Direct's got it. But I've not even cracked open that box set. Why? Because the OGs, I got the OGs of everything in that box set, and the OGs are actually just quiet as a mouse and do real well. So eventually I need to get into that. I mean, they're all 180 gram and everything, and I need to get into that box set, but I'm kind of not needing to either. And anyway, I put Frampton on. I got goosebumps. I got emotional. That cartridge is halfway broken in. I've got about 8.5, 9 hours on it. It's not quite halfway broken in. The difference, I've never heard these details. I've never heard these textures. There were, in Asia, there were some, it's kind of hard to describe. It was in his voice. There were some textures I'd never heard before, and some background noises I'd never heard before. Same thing with Frampton. And I had heard, like, in the first song on Frampton, can't remember, let's see, what is it? Day's Dawning, which he's got some birds chirping, which I had heard before, but were very, very suppressed, very low. On the same album, by the way. I'd heard them on digital, but not very audible at all. It was almost like, what is that? It was almost like background noise. And then on this vinyl, on this OG from 1975, that's been cleaned and well taken care of, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the birds were chirping, and I swear for a minute, it's March, I thought for a minute, well, the birds are out, you know, because from my listening seat, I'm 6 foot from a window that birds kind of frequent, that ledge and everything, and I'm like, well, the birds, it's a nice sunny day. We had a terrible rainy day yesterday. Well, I bet you we had 3 inches of rain yesterday, maybe 4 inches. I don't know, it felt a flood. So I figured, well, the birds are out. It was on that freaking album, and it was clear as a bell, and it was loud. You know, it was not subtle at all. That makes me want to get that box set out and just see what's going on, you know, really. So with that being said, that's progressing nicely. The Hannah HL and the Rega P6, that is definitely progressing nicely. I have on the way, trying to get to the right screen here, I have on the way a Sutherland. Yeah, this is big changes here. I have on the way a Sutherlandphono preamp. It's called the 2020. MK1 or 2, I think it's MK2. I'll do a link to a video, I think, to understand the relevance and the significance of this preamp. Just reading about the preamp really doesn't do it justice, although I read several different reviews. Michael Fremer has talked about it. It's a fantastic preamp, and the noise suppression, the noise suppression is out of this world in the thing. 3/4 of the preamp, 3/4 of the circuit board in the preamp is nothing but line noise suppression, RF suppression, and I mean it's crazy. It's absolutely nuts. It's got these huge honking capacitors in the body of it. I'll link to a video where he's talking about it. By the way, I was sitting at that table. I was sitting in that seat Sunday while we looked at my turntable at that same spot. So it was a audio advice interview with him, and as he talks to it, you can just hear the passion that he's got. Mr. Sutherland, I think it's Ron or Roy, but Mr. Sutherland, you can just get the passion that he's got for what he's doing and what he's building and the difference he's making. So that is on the way. Got that used. It would be $2,300 or $400, I think. I got it for $1,200. So it was used, but the thing is in mint shape, absolutely mint shape. It's on the way. Looking forward to that. And I sold a couple things in order to not dig out of my wallet, because I just dug out of my wallet to get the Rega and the Hannah, and I've not been reimbursed yet by Music Direct. They have received it. I checked the tracking. I got an email saying that they had received it and they had done their part of it, but they have not done the whole part of it, not refunding me my money. So I sold my Schiit Bifrost, which I really thought that was an in-game DAC for me, and I found out it was not an in-game DAC for me at all. First of all, I want to concentrate on my vinyl game. I am using a Schiit Modius, which is a balanced DAC. It's only $230. But I got to be honest with you, and here's where the rubber meets the road, people. I can tell a difference between that $230 DAC and that $800 DAC. Wait for it. But I can't tell $600 difference at all. And I've had it for, well, since the beginning of the year. And I don't know how to say this other than to say this. That DAC let me down. How about that? I really had high hopes for Bifrost 264. What is up with these guys talking about, there's a couple reviewers that, one of them specifically in mind, I can't think of his name right now. He specifically said that thing was 80% of Ygadra seal, what we call Yigi. Yigi's $2,700 depending on the way you configure it. How could that $800 DAC be 80% of Yigi? How? But they were saying it was 80%. Well, if it was 80% of Yigi, I don't want Yigi. How about that? I wanted Yigi before, but now I don't want either one of them. Not for that kind of money. Not for $800, and definitely not for $2,600, $2,700. And you could say, well, your system wasn't resolving enough. I had everything that Schiit Audio said have. I had Freya Plus, I had Kara, They said Kara was the end all of be all preamps. They said that Freya was the end all of be all of two preamps. I've heard guys saying that the Freya really punches up into the $2,500 range. Freya's like $1,100 brand new. So it wasn't a cable issue. I got cables. We'll get into that. So I don't know what it was. It wasn't cables. It wasn't line noise. It wasn't anything you can come up with an interconnect, a speaker cable, or anything like that. And it wasn't anything to do with the USB cable. USB cable's a $700 cable. Who? That's what I said. The USB cable is a diamond. You look that up. A diamond AudioQuest USB cable, $700. Okay? No, I didn't pay that for it. But the fact of the matter is, so it wasn't anything other than that DAC. That's all there is to it. And I was running FLAC, so it wasn't quality of service. So, with all that being said, we're at 16 minutes. Let's do some comments. I'm going to do a little bit of editing. I might knock out some of that. So, let me do this, and let me do a little bit of this. Y'all might not want me to get a beer in me and go to comment on comments. First of all, Sunhouse. Greetings from Paris. Wow, that impresses me. Thank you for your videos. I undigged my vinyl collection a year ago. I'm passionate about it again. I still have the Techniques turntable from my teenage years. It works very well. I equipped it with a good VM750 cartridge and a black box preamp. The whole thing is more expensive than the turntable, I think. I am very satisfied with the results obtained. Don't you have a hood to protect your P6 from dust and the kitty's paw? And the answer is yes, but it just comes on and off. And so that was the case with the Ultra Deck, and that's the case with this. And I did answer. And I took a year of French, and comment allez-vous? Comment allez-vous? Je m'appelle Wisson. And that's all I can remember. I can read more than I can say. I can't say very much anymore. It's been years, but I can read some elementary, like, newspaper stuff. So, but I had 3 years of Greek, and I can read the snot out of that. So anyway, oh yeah. Now, get this comment. David Mander, the best accessory you can have is a decent CD or DVD player for compact disc. And he was talking about episode 10, the 2 essential vinyl accessories. And man, I've got a one of those. Was it Magnavox? No, come on, it was something else. It was one of them old school brands, but it was a nice CD carousel thing, and it did coax out the back into your DAC and everything. I mean, especially going into a DAC, it sounds good, but it's got its own internal DAC. And I did some research on those DACs. It actually does pretty good. But no, CDs would bore me to death. And I've got CDs, but I rip them and use the FLAC. So, and then, again, a comment on episode 10, Marcus Golfy or something like that. He said 2 words, audio flat earthers. Audio flat earthers. What the hell is that supposed to mean? Anyway, I don't get it. Okay, thanks for watching. And watching the mini episode with me showing the anti-skating disaster and everything, Pizza Earth Pancakes and Other, I love some of these names, says the MoFi mofos don't give me a FOMO, and I'm happy for you there. There's only been a couple to really give me the fear of missing out. What was it? The Cannonball Adderley with Miles Davis and everything, and I am drawing a blank. I started trying to get it, and it started going out of stock in places, and I couldn't get it, and I got a little fear of missing out. And I will say that one, give me some FOMO. The John Coltrane UHQR, I Love Supreme, give me some FOMO, and I finally got that here a couple weeks ago. But really, no FOMO for anything else. I wouldn't say. A little bit of FOMO for Asia. A little bit of FOMO for Asia's UHQR. But yeah, FOMO is a real thing. I got it on a select few things, but not on everything, you know. Anyway, my cat loves it when I put Supersonic, commenting on episode 10. My cat loves it when I put Roland Kirk's Serenade to a Cuckoo. Serenade to a Cuckoo. He gets real excited and jumps on top of my speakers. I don't mind because he's happy. I enjoy your videos. Yeah, Batman only pays the speakers any attention if we're standing near them. That's really about it. He wants to get on our shoulders. That's the reason he gets up there. He's really not wanting to scratch anything. I've never been afraid of him, you know, using my speaker cloth, grill cloths for scratching post. I've never, him or Fancy, and we've had Batman for 13 years. That's the black cat. And maybe, I don't know if you've seen a picture of Fancy, but she looks just like the Fancy Feast cat. And she's a weird quirk now, but she dug at my speaker grills one time. And no, she didn't damage anything, because those speaker grills are a little bit worse for wear anyway. It's the only negative part of those Fortes, those 42-year-old Fortes, is those speaker grills. And they're not bad. They're just not, they don't look mint, you know. Anyway, Dave Pounds made a fantastic comment on episode 10 to 2 Essentials of Vinyl Accessories. There is no way in hell I'm going to spend $40. $40. That's John Boy and Billy skit there. Tim Wilson. That is a Tim Wilson. God rest his soul. Fantastic comedian, hilarious. That's off of a skit of his. There's no way in hell I'm going to spend $40 on that gadget to make the center hole fit the spindle. There's a ton of household items that will do the same thing. Waste of money. Besides, I've been buying vinyl for years and never had any problems. $40. So I felt the same way. Like I said in the video, I looked around for a different way of doing it several times. Looked several different ways. Thought about taking a drill bit. I've got a bandsaw, I'm talking about a table bandsaw to cut steel with. I thought about running a drill bit over that and everything. I've been buying so much vinyl, I actually run into that problem on every 3 week basis. And how are you going to mitigate that problem with the LP not? Well, getting it down on the spindle's not a problem. Let me tell you what the problem is. You're going to damage the record getting it off. And what if it's a $172 UHQR or a $60 Analog Productions? Because I've had a couple of them be kind of tight on the spindle. It's a small investment. Jim, talking about the essential vinyl accessories, the thing you were resting your record on, a guy might be able to use that for CDs or DVDs. I see Mr. Cat is in the vinyl as well. Great video. Yeah, I've not even tried, but yeah, the spindle would be smaller in a CD or DVD, so yeah, it would work fine for that. I didn't say the reason in that video that I wanted the second one, the more expensive one, and it's because they're made out of steel and polished steel, and you can see the thing that sticks through the hole. You can see that spindle better than that. How do you say it? Delaron material. I don't even know how to say it, but anyway. Let's see, Caravaggio, and we're at 26 minutes. Got to hurry. I already liked your channel, but now I love it. Now I know your family has a cat. Man, y'all love my cat. Cats rule. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And I didn't know about it. Somebody did the 33 RPM guy. I can't think of his name. He did a review on just the spindle deal, and I had to have it. After I did a little research, I had to have it. Glad you got the new turntable. This is Caravaggio again. Man, I'm having trouble with that. Episode 9, the Regal way to go. Glad you got the new turntable. I've been enjoying your rants. I was excited to see I had a new video from you. Please don't go another week or two without episode 10. And he got one that day, I think. And I'm trying. I'd like to put one out every 3 or 4 days. And tell you what, we get into busy season. It's gonna be tough because I work 12 hours a day in busy season. Busy season lasts 6 months. One point, Audio Nonsense is the guy's name. He made this comment on the Regal Way to Go, episode 9. One point I'll make based on your comments. The process of a factory authorized repair refurbish was not done. You're right. You're exactly right. Laughing after 45 seconds on episode 8. Something GD Law or something like that. He says he's laughing after only 45 seconds. What took you so long? That's the only thing I'm going to say. Oh, he made a comment here. I didn't even see this yet. I don't smoke cigars. I did try once and it was nice. I don't smoke. MidFi seems to have worse service than any company out there. Rega is just a great turntable. Well, I appreciate that. And I put a reply in there real quick. Episode 9, the Regal way to go. I don't know how I missed this. So this is fresh to me. I'm going to read it. Not only did you make the right, same guy, GD Law, not only did you make the right decision to buy Rega, but you bought the best version. Take a look at some of the Rega factory visits on YouTube and interviews with Roy. I also own a project, and this works very well too. The project turntable uses inferior filter capacitors, and some owners end up with hum. Rega is such a fantastic company. The P6 is superb. I also agree with the comments about adding the weight to your turntable. This is unnecessary. It's not how they designed the turntable in the first place. I'm looking forward to their new Rega AIA loudspeakers and a new mid-range integrated, which should arrive by summer. Rega resale values are very good too. I have never had a problem selling anything Rega. Why would you sell anything Rega? I'm joking. A lot of good comments. Mark Carrington, there's another one by you, but I need to get to a couple other people here. Supersonic, oh man, I've got a P6 with an Anya Pro. I've had it set up for 2 years now. You know what? I'm going to tell you something. And thanks on the congrats on the Anya Pro. I'm at 30 minutes. Crap, guys. Y'all just going to have to get a bite and come back for more later. I do that with long episodes quite frequently while I'm at work and whatnot. I'll watch 30 minutes or 20 minutes, whatever I can, come back. So come back. But yeah, Supersonic, I wanted Anya Pro. It was only a couple more $100 or $300 or $400 more than a Anya. And Audio Advice, I'm going to tell you what Audio Advice said. don't buy the Anya Pro unless you're going to run a Rega preamp. And I said, well, I'm not going to run a Rega preamp unless you tell me I've got to. If I got to, I'll throw the card over and get it. And he said no. He said, just get a Hannah HL. It's a better cartridge anyway. I said, what do you mean it's a better cartridge? He said, we have people refuse to listen to us, and they buy the Anya or the Anya Pro, and they wind up bringing it back after 3 weeks. He said it's happened several times. He said, we just have decided to warn people and go ahead and get them on the Hannah HL. If they're willing to spend $1,200, we need to get them on the right cartridge. So, with that being said, that's the reason I got the Hannah HL. I'm not trying to say anything about your Anya Pro. I've seen several fantastic reviews. But yeah, I think, he may be right. I don't know what your preamp is, but he may be right about that. I know that Hannah HL is just fantastic. Jim, man, you've had several great comments, and I appreciate them, Jim. Sorry they didn't make it right for you. For that kind of money, you would think they would want to make it right. Glad I didn't put money on the Technics 1200 series table. I didn't understand that last comment. I know what you're talking about, the Technics 1200. Glad I didn't put money on the Technics 1200. I mean, I asked you to clarify it, but you really didn't clarify it other than the model name. But yeah, they disappointed me, Jim. I really wanted kind of a relationship with them, and it occurred to me that to get a relationship, I was going to have a personal relationship with somebody local like Audio Advice. And there's them and another company in Cary, North Carolina, which is right around the corner. It's a suburb of Raleigh, really, halfway between Raleigh and Durham. What I'm getting at is I think when it comes to spending significant amounts of money, say more than an album, buying an album, I think you might need a relationship. So yeah. And Supersonic says, buy Rega. Yeah, did do that. And Jim says, if my memory serves me right, now he's commenting on the first offer, that stupid, crazy first offer. If memory serves me right, but didn't that rig cost you $1,800? Yes, it did. And they wanted to give me $800. That's crazy. Absolutely bonkers. One guy says something here I want to address. Sutherlandphono, I guess. God, I hate these names all scrunched together. MidFi ran a con on their most expensive record, scamming and ripping off their most loyal customers. They got sued and lost. If you giving them any attention, light up, brother. I'm well aware of MidFi Gate. I understand MidFi Gate. I followed it from the very beginning. I heard the Michael Jackson album before anybody listening to my voice right now, I promise you. I heard a promo copy of it on a $250,000 system in Raleigh. Actually, it's like a $350,000 system. The vice president of MidFi came and spun that record for us. And when I heard that Michael Jackson Thriller on that system, I became bonded to that album. I didn't care if it was digital. Whatever. I mean, I get what you're saying, and Maybe I'll comment on that, on the whole MidFi Gate thing more than I have. Maybe I need to do an episode on MidFi Gate. But man, there's a lot of episodes that people have done. A lot of YouTubers have burnt the cloud up on web storage on MidFi Gate, man. I'm well aware of all the details, and I'm telling you, I'm willing to deal with it to a large degree. So now, one guy says here, Charles River, he's laughing about a belt turntable. Well, some people prefer belt, some people prefer direct drive. You obviously prefer direct drive, and I'm all for you, man. To each his own. One fella here, Prime Analog, he's commenting on episode 8. I'm liking your style. I understand your frustration with new turntables, and honestly, I've stuck with my favorite 2 turntables that are vintage, that have features that punch way above their weight. And he gets into talking about what he's got. I had a really nice SLB2, still got one that I'm not going to sell. I need to get a cartridge for it, but just for a backup. But I'm telling y'all right now, man, a vintage turntable. I'm not saying that a vintage turntable is the wrong way to go. It's the wrong way to go for me. You know, I tore that SLB2, all 2 pieces, and put it together, all back together piece by piece. And I know everything about that SLB2 there is to know, just about. And replaced a lot of parts. Spent a lot of money on that SLB2. And I never, ever, ever, ever got the stability of performance. I'm not even talking about the ability of the cartridge to perform. I'm talking about the stability of performance, the AC motor, the DC motor being stable, the wow and flutter being stable. I never got 45 RPM to be stable, and I did everything but replace the motor. And the more and more research I did, the more and more I figured out that replacing the motor probably wouldn't fix it. It was going to wind up costing me $75 or $80 more money, and time. And time is a real thing. Talking about the record weight, Stars Divine mentioned this, and somebody else mentioned it a while ago. The feet under the turntable are flexible. Having a record weight on the plinth might tilt the turntable out of level. I never placed heavy objects on the turntable. Turntable was level. This is talking about the Ultra Deck. Talking about using a record weight on the Rega P6. I took y'all's advice. There were 2 or 3 guys that said something about that. I took your advice. I'm not using the record weight. No problem. So everybody can calm down on that. I can't tell the difference between using it and not using it. So I'm not going to use it, just in case. But I did tell a difference in using it with the Ultra Deck. I could tell a difference. Good cigar. It's still lit too, because I've been running my trap. Y'all see that? I know y'all just busted out laughing, didn't you? Okay, got some good, there's more comments, guys, but really and truly, we're deep into this. I don't know how deep we are. But look, like and subscribe. This side of my screen is froze up, so I don't know if this thing is even working without getting around there and turning around. So like and subscribe. I've enjoyed the comments. The comments, man, the first thing I do when I wake up at 2:45 in the morning, I make my coffee, I sit down and I look at the comments. I try to look at them during the day, but it usually doesn't happen very often. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. Please like. It helps. Please like. And I'll catch you later.